So I'm currently at my London Airbnb. I'm living in London for the month of August. And every time I stay at an Airbnb, I'm always like kind of looking around at things I would do around the house. Like, oh, I wish I could put this chair over here. Sometimes I actually do it. If I'm staying at an Airbnb for quite some time, I'll like move some things around and then move them back when I leave. Or sometimes I let them stay and I'm like, maybe the host would like this. Depends on the vibe. And because I'm in an Airbnb, I'm not going to spend money to, spruce up the place, even though I did here because I'm here for like a month and there's a beautiful outdoor patio and they don't have a dining table out there. There's actually not a dining table in this unit at all. So I did buy an outdoor dining table off of Facebook Marketplace that they can keep. It was €60 and it came with delivery. So I did buy something for this Airbnb. Besides the point, I was thinking about how you can upgrade your home without buying anything new with the stuff you already have, because I do that all the time. When I lived in Chicago, every few months I would, change some things around, and I definitely have some pointers of things you can do to your home without spending any money with stuff you already have. My first suggestion is pretty obvious, and that's just to rearrange your spaces. So if you're starting to feel like stale and unexcited in your space, it really can release endorphins. At least for me, we call it getting high. When if I just move a sofa to the other side of the room or just like switch up, the arrangement of the seating area, or maybe you move the bed to another wall, that can make such a huge difference. I think it's overwhelming when you look at a room and you're like, oh, like I don't have the funds to redesign this whole space. I don't even think that's a practical way to look at interior design. I don't really ever want to just gut my whole, unless it's like a renovation, but I feel like interior design can be done in pieces. So instead of looking at your space being like, oh, one day we'll redo this room, just try rearranging it or adding in bits and pieces that maybe were in a different room and switching them. Just even the littlest things can make a huge difference. In my opinion, I get like, it's weird. Sometimes when I rearrange a space or even when I get like a new item, I will stare at it for hours. I'll go to bed and then I'll think about it in my bed and then I'll go and stand at my door and just admire whatever it is I did that day. Or I'll take a photo and just keep looking at it on my phone. Maybe that's just a me thing. I don't know. On top of switching items between rooms, I highly recommend switching art pieces between rooms. That's so easy because you already have the nails in the wall or whatever, and you can just switch out the art, which can also inspire or spark a new idea in your head of how you want this room to look. I highly recommend switching art between rooms. I've done it a million times. I think people, when they decorate their homes, they think everything needs to be permanent. Like, this is the piece of art that hangs above our bed in our bedroom and it stays there. But if you're looking to kind of spruce up your space or just make things feel different, take that piece of art, switch it with a different piece of art. Done. Even switching out photos that are in your frames. I know my mom has these photos of me, my younger sister Teague, and my younger brother Jack from like when it was just like the most odd age that the photos are taken of. Like, I'm in a flower crown in a photo. She won't switch them out, but I do highly recommend switching those out. I think it can, add new art to your space. It's new photos. You can upgrade them, and then I don't have to be on the wall in a flower crown. I feel like this suggestion no one ever really thinks of, but I recently applied for an apartment in Los Angeles, and I'll show you just like a sneak little photo. If I get the apartment, you'll see more. I don't know if I got it yet, but there's like this office area in a closet, and I was like, if I just remove those doors, I could create just like a little nook. So my suggestion would be to remove doors that are kind of unnecessary, or if you have a closet in your room, remove the doors, and then maybe you could even install a desk within the closet or transforming your closet into another space. It doesn't really cost that much money. You can literally remove the doors and even just throw a desk that you already have in there, or you could, I'm trying not to say to buy something, but you could buy a desktop or like a countertop or a slab of wood and throw it in your closet. But I guess my main suggestion is removing doors that are unnecessary and creating another little space, because again, that's going to get you high. Is that the correct word I should be using? I feel like I'm talking about getting high off of um, taking off a door or like an interior design thing, but I guess it's just an endorphin. Or do you guys do you all feel the same way, like getting that, like, I don't know, maybe it's just me because I'm passionate about interiors, but it really gives me the feeling unlike nothing else. I recently found out that Kate actually bought a table and made it into a coffee table. So her coffee table that I showed on my video of Check Out This Fucking Home featuring my BFF Kate, she has this really cute coffee table, and I did not know that it actually used to be a way higher height, and she just took a saw and sawed off the legs, and it's now a coffee table. So if you have, an old entryway table, or maybe it's a smaller dining table that could be made into a coffee table, I think that's such a great suggestion. I've never thought of that before. You do have to like measure extremely precisely because you don't want some wonky legs, but Kate's turned out really, really good, and I've honestly never thought about doing that. So, hot tip. If you have an empty wall somewhere in your home, just like an open little empty wall, I think adding in maybe an old bench or a little trunk or just like a little table that, doesn't really feel like it adds any necessary use to the space, but it does add this like little decoration, If you have a little bench and then put some books on it and then add in a little lamp, I think that's a good way to make a change in your home that I guess isn't like practical, but not everything needs to be practical. And it just adds a cute little touch to your room. You know what I mean? Go in your basement and pull out that old bench or like an old wooden bench you had outside. Bring it in and style it on an empty little wall. Make a moment. Make a moment. Move an old dresser to an entryway or just anywhere in your house. I feel like dressers can belong anywhere, and I think you can style them out to look so great in your entry or even maybe near your kitchen. If you have an old dresser that's just like hanging out in the guest room and it's not really in use, or maybe it's in your basement, bring it out of storage and put it somewhere that isn't in a bedroom. I think people, you think that you have to put a dresser in your bedroom, which I guess is like what makes sense. But if you're trying to try something new, I think dressers can look really good in a lot of other spaces, especially if you add in a little piece of art or a lamp and style it out right. It can be a really nice like display piece. A dining table as your desk. I think when you're shopping for a desk for your office, you think that it has to be, an actual desk, but it doesn't need to be. You could use an old dining table. I actually love that look a lot more sometimes than, this type of desk from IKEA, which is still nice. But if you have an extra dining room table, or maybe you're getting a new dining room table for your kitchen and now you have this old one, maybe try it out as a desk somewhere. I think it can look really nice, and it almost adds like an antique feel instead of like a modern desk. And we all need desks now because we're all working from home. I'm not at a desk. I'm sitting on my bed against a white wall, and it's raining out. Okay. I guess this one requires you to buy some paint, or maybe you have some leftover paint. I always have leftover paint down in my storage unit when I was in Chicago, but I think one really exciting way to spruce up a space is to paint a shelving unit that you have. I think that is one area you can put a little bit of creativity into it. I really love Sophie Ashby's shelving unit, the black and yellow. I think it's one area in your house, like why not do something fun with this? If you're scared of color, like painting your whole room a color, then this is definitely one like smaller area that you can be a little bit more spontaneous, a little bit more crazy. And again, that high of painting a shelving unit, I'm already thinking about all these things I want to do to my future place. I'm going to be getting a place in like the next month or two. I have to. I've been, I guess, without my own home since January. So it's about time. And one of the main things I want to do is paint a shelving unit if there is a shelving unit, or buy a shelving unit and paint it, or do something. I'm excited to decorate. I feel like these are all really easy and fun ways to make your home feel better without having to buy anything, because I do really think it's overwhelming to like look at a room and be like, we're going to redesign this in 2023. No, just not everything needs to be like a huge project. I don't work like that. I take everything very slowly. I'm even thinking about my content for when I'm designing these rooms. I'm like, I don't like to do things super quickly. I like to do things within time. And, that has to do also with budget and whatnot. So take your time when decorating your room, switch things up. You can use a lot of things within your own home without having to like redo everything. Just switch up your spaces. All right. I'll see you on the next one next week. I don't know. I forget. I have some fun video ideas coming up. So, yeah. Have a great day, and goodbye.